Thank you. We're ready.
Okay. Well, I guess we can stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I don't have a flag though. All right, it's on the agenda.
We don't have, but we have a heart. That's great.
I pledge allegiance to the
flag
flag
Of the United
States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Jean, would you do roll call, please?
Hey, Chairman Joan Brophy,
Here?
Ronald Tank,
Here.
Leon Ross,
Here.
and Michael Horvat is coming, right?
That's, yes.
Okay, and Eugene Gross.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can.
Yes.
I cannot hear you.
Fault is with your receiver.
Yes.
Yeah, you may have to change I needed to change my speaker, Mike. Well, he can't hear me.
John,
Somebody
can
want
you
to
send
text him?
me the meeting
Okay.
ID?
I can.
Okay, because that might let me in into my computer instead of my phone, because I cannot hear you guys. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, John. Hello, Liz. Hello, Lillian.
The meeting has begun.
All right, I'll shut up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Technology. All right, next on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of May 20th, 2021. Has everyone had time to review the minutes? And if so, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I so move.
I'll support.
It's been moved and supported to approve the minutes of the ZBA Board of Appeals meeting of May 20th. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Did you catch all of that, Jean? 'Cause I did not.
Second by our Council Lady Ross, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Wonderful.
I thought so.
You're good.
I don't have the regular form, so we'll get by.
Okay. The next item of business is the approval of the agenda for this evening. Are there any additions or changes to the agenda? No, and hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll move.
Okay, that looked like Ronald and.
And I'll support.
Okay. It's been moved and supported to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. There is, moving on to the next agenda item. There is no unfinished business. New business, we are entertaining a petition to request a variance to the property at 1344 Stewart Avenue for a dimensional variance from the requirement that a fence must be placed 5 feet behind the front building line of a principal structure in a residential district. I'd like to, it is now 7:09, and we can open the public hearing for this at 7:09. Would anybody, who would like to speak on this? I think this is Mr. Juras. Is this yours? Uas? Thank you. Would you like to address the ZBA with your request?
Yes, this front fence was when we bought the house long ago. We never have any problem. In this winter, when I was mostly winter time, we are in Florida. my tenant, who is a widow and lost her husband not long ago, asked me if I allowed her to replace the front fence because started to rot in the bottom, and I said, yeah, I don't have no problem, but I said, I'm not sure how you want to do it and what kind of fence you're using. When I get home, March, she showed me what kind of fence. I said, I don't have no problem. She's working for Dearborn City Hall, and she asked the city over there if need anything, any permit if she replacing, and they told her no. But later I found out in Lincoln Park, they may need it. So we pulled a permit after they found out it's a new fence over there installed, and they want me to move back that fence, which one is the fence line was there 5 foot. But if we move back, that will be the door of the windows will be out, almost in the middle of the fence. Plus, I don't know how you say, I'm not a good English speaker, but would be not that secure for her because her bed is exactly under the window. So that she will be, she is really don't feel comfortable if we move that fence. So I asking if possible to leave it like that for her security. And I made pictures to show how it's everything is original over there. Even I have the old fence back if they want to put it back, but I don't have no problem to do anything legal over there. But like I said, it's happened without knowing this is not in the right place. So I really, if I know that, I don't even want to touch her the fence, and I just repaired those couple of wood which ones rotten. But now it's everything is over. Now it's we already did everything what needed, what they asked. But I don't feel comfortable if I have to move the fence for her safety.
Thank you. Is there any, Liz or anyone would you like to present anything or I can close the public hearing if
I'd like to say something. Can you hear me?
this is Maureen?
Yes, it is. I just, Alex and Anna, I've known them for a very long time. As he was saying, I missed part of it because I didn't get let in, but the fence was in really bad shape, and it looked bad. It was rotting. The tenants asked if they could replace it, and that's what they did, but they did not move any of the original posts. So it's basically the same fence, but it has been upgraded for appearances and safety. And as he stated, the tenant is not comfortable with that fence being moved and exposing her bedroom window. I understand the laws, and I understand how you have to have it 5 feet behind the house. But in this case, this is something that this woman has gotten accustomed to. She's lost her husband. She's there by herself. She's not well. And now with moving it 5 feet behind the house is going to make her very uncomfortable and not feel as safe as she was before, you know, where the fence was before. If you make them move it back, it's going to cause a hardship for her, and she doesn't have the best of health. And as I'm stating, this really made a difference in the appearance to the neighborhood and to the property itself. So that's why they're asking for the variances for her safety, and also it's basically what was always there before. Now it just looks better, and that's all I have to say.
Plus, it's a corner house, which will even make it more unsafely. But it's I just asking the city if possible, just to keep it, because I don't want to lose her. She's over there almost 8 years, and she may walk away if I have to move it. So it's all up to the city. I'm really asking everybody if possible to just leave it how it was.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Because this is with Liz or with the planning rules, because I understand the importance of keeping the window safe. Is there any, if they won't do the full, reduce the 5 feet, maybe do 3.5 or something, and kind of, do an adjustment? Would that be acceptable? Is that a possibility to be accrued? I'm just asking. I don't know. It's just a
Just,
thought.
like I told at the beginning, if you're asking me, if I know I have to do any moving, I don't even want to touch it because I will repair it. But we are over that step. So she very put it up and looked really nice. Plus the next door neighbor fence is exactly finishing the same place where is my fence. So if you look at the pictures, it's exactly, so that, I think that's where she even wanted to, doesn't look that bad, but yeah, I don't know if I ask too much. That's 3 feet here or there. It's even this way that we're losing a lot from there because we are very far away from the sidewalk. So it's a corner because the corner house. So if you guys look at pictures, it's really, the house is really in from the street or from the sidewalk.
Mhm.
Madam Chair,
Yeah, Lily.
is it okay to ask a question at this? Okay.
I guess, yeah, I can close the public hearing and then we can kind of move into that if you'd like.
Yeah,
Okay.
if you would close the public hearing,
Oh,
if no one else wants to have a public hearing statement, because when you get into your ZBA members, then you can have that conversation.
okay, then have the deliberation. Okay,
Correct.
so, yeah, so we'll leave it open. Okay, the questions, got it. Go ahead, Lillian.
I'm sorry. Okay. So my question is, as I'm looking at your pictures and the drawing that was submitted to us, it looks like the home is actually a 2-bedroom.
Yes.
So I guess I'm asking is how hard would it be for her to move into the 2nd bedroom?
Actually, both bedroom is one of on the front window, the other one will be this one.
I'm sorry.
So the one bedroom very from the what's the street? Stewart Street. The second one will be this, which one we will be open. So if we move this fence, this will be the 2nd bedroom. The other one from the front, very, very in the front right now.
So you're saying that if she moves into the 2nd bedroom, the fence will still be, will not be covering the windows?
I think if I may through the chair, I think what he's saying is that the bedroom has 2 windows. One is the front of the house and one is the side of the house. I
Yeah.
don't know where the 2nd bedroom is in the house.
That has in the back that's closed. I think that's where the husband lived and died. I don't think she want to move in that.
That's where he
Yeah.
passed away.
So all I know, this is her bedroom. From the beginning, she moved over there. So they was an older couple. So,
Sometimes granddaughter is there.
but I know that that's what John's room, that inside bedroom. So
Grandkids
I can ask her, but I know her. I don't think she feel comfortable because he died over there in that room.
So just to clarify, it sounds like there is a bedroom in the back that would be,
That's what her husband
Protected.
room. Yes.
And he passed away in that room and she wouldn't be comfortable moving in there.
any other questions?
If you're closing public hearing, I would ask if you'd give city staff a chance to report on the legal positions that the city has held going into this and denying the request in the first place. And I would turn that over when you're ready to Liz.
Okay, Liz, Hit it.
Great. Let me share my screen so everyone can see the staff report. Okay. Is everybody seeing my screen?
Yes.
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 So as stated, or as John stated, we're just going to go through the legal part, statutes of a variance. You know what the petition is, and as an overview, the building code specifies that a fence must be placed 5 feet behind the front building line of a principal structure in a residential district. We know that the applicant replaced sections of the original fence, which was considered legal non-conforming prior to it being replaced. So in our ordinance, it's section 1292.04. If a non-conforming structure is removed or altered, it loses its non-conforming status. Therefore, when it's removed or altered, it should have been brought up to code. I'm going to go through the standards for a dimensional non-use variance. Proof of practical difficulties must exist, which must include all of the following. So the first criteria is practical difficulties. Strict compliance with restrictions governing area, setback, frontage, height, bulk, density, and other non-use matters will unreasonably prevent the owner from using the property for a permitted purpose or will render ordinance conformity unnecessarily burdensome. There's ample space on the lot to move the fence back 5 feet. Bedroom window location is considered a preference, not a practical difficulty. The assessment is not met. Criteria for substantial justice. The applicant may still have a fence without the benefit of the requested variance. The variance would not provide substantial justice to other property owners. Assessment is not met. For unique circumstances, no unique circumstances that are peculiar to the property have been presented. Assessment is not met. Preservation of property rights. There is ample space on the lot to move the fence back 5 feet. Therefore, the variance has no effect on a substantial property right. Assessment is not met. For public safety and welfare, the current location of the fence could present sight and visibility issues for neighboring property owners. Assessment is not met. Criteria not self-created. The need for this variance is self-created. The assessment is it's not met. More than a mere inconvenience. The alleged hardship that will result is a mere inconvenience. Assessment is not met. For additional considerations, the granting of a lesser variance will not provide reasonable relief and substantial justice to the applicant. A variance of any degree is not required for relief or substantial justice. Not met. The granting of a variance could endanger public safety and that it limits visibility and sight distances. Assessment is that it's not met. The granting of the variance would not impair the value of surrounding property. So this criteria is met. The granting of the variance would not alter the character of the neighborhood. This criteria is also met. And the granting of a variance would not impair the adequate supply of light and air to any adjacent property. This criteria is also met. So in terms of recommendation, staff recommends denial of the request for a dimensional variance from the requirement that a fence must be placed 5 feet behind the front building line of a principal structure in a residential district based on the finding that the request does not meet 9 of the 12 criteria outlined in section 1264.091. We have a recommended motion here when that time comes.
So would anyone else like to speak before we close the public hearing and then we can deliberate?
I do have a question.
Yes, I have Mr. Ron Tank, I have a question. So as I look at the schematic of the home, if I'm reading it right, bedroom 1 has 2 windows, one of which faces the street, has no fence in front of it. And then it has a window in the on the side of the house behind the fence. So where the fence is currently, there's still a bedroom window that is facing the street with no fence.
Yes,
So
but it's,
if you move fence back 5 feet. I don't think you've changed the safety features of the residence. There's still an open window currently.
Yes, but the bed, it's like a bed where her head is exactly under that window.
I understand.
Those room is very small room, so it's not facing the front street. So that's why she even will be more open for anybody throwing a rock. Let's say bad kids throwing a rock would be exactly in her bed. This way, just the side of the bed, how it is right now. So that room from the front, you cannot do anything, just if we put something. But here, how she had the bedroom board, it's exactly her head is over there.
I believe there's a flower bed in front of that window also in the front of the house.
It looks like the old fence at the moment, but
I left the old fence over there in the case. That's the only way we can keep it.
So she has if she has a big headboard, the headboard is going to cover up the window. I guess I have difficulty seeing how that is going to enhance her safety with still one open window.
She was in personally and asking for this because that's where her bed sat. So I don't know how high is it. I never was in her bedroom. But maybe she don't even have headboard, just a mattress. But that's what she asking me. So, and the city too. She was in with my wife to ask, possibility to. Because you guys have the other way to keep it how it is, if we're cutting down 4 feet, but that just looks really, again, unsafe. Anybody can jump over. And those neighborhood, they have a lot of young kids too. That's why they, even in the side of the, you have that Garbage Street, how you say it, where alley, she replaced a couple of fences over there because they sprayed bad stuff over there and design and all that. And that's when she came with this idea to be more safe. So, and she paid for everything. She don't even ask for anything. But now starting to be a headache, the whole thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm there, her other resolution is to move to the other bedroom. And I understand that there are superstitions, but there are other remedies to this that would still solve her issue of security, because that bedroom is certainly well behind the fence and more protected.
Only thing I don't understand, see, that's why I made even pictures, all the fence, the old fence over there. If I put everything back, all the old fence, you guys will be okay with it, because look, that's how it was. So I can put everything back how it was and just repair those doors and the rotten wood. And you guys will be okay with that, because that's how it was. I had that house, almost 20 years, 15 years. And was so many inspection and never had any issue with it. Now she put 3 fences and it's so hard, a new one. It looks really nice and all that. And this is giving headache for me. It's hard to understand, especially when I do renting business over 23 years. So first time when I have this kind of issue, definitely it's hard to understand to ask a special pass for this lady.
Well, I don't know if John wants to speak to that, but I mean, if you, my understanding of this this issue is that you've already altered the fence. So, putting putting anything there is still an alteration. We would still require the fence to be moved back because you'd be altering it again. So, this is, the fence looks very nice, yes. But changing it back to what it was, you'd still need a permit, I think, for that, and then we'd be back in the same place.
Because I don't move any post. That's so interesting about that, because if you put everything back how it was and you don't move any post, anything, what's just doesn't make sense to me.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
there are other issues or things that we can do for her safety. They do have some fancy window work or special screening that can be put over the window to bar anything from breaking in. Plus, if you get the one with the safety latch where only it can be opened in case of emergency, she needs to jump out that window, that can be installed along with it. So moving the fence is, if that's one consideration, but there are other ways to keep her secure and safe in her own home besides the fence.
right, if it's a security issue. There was also this idea that Mike brought up about moving at 3.5. I mean, it sounds like the issue is that people won't be able to see. There's some sort of blocking for other people as a safety issue for the other people in the community. I don't know if the 3.5 foot will make that much of a difference, but that's also an option.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
if I could ask John, where on this, where am I? On this picture, okay, where would the 5 foot setback be?
It's
Would
from
it
the
be,
front corner of the house, not front corner of the porch. It's from the front corner of the living space, according to the ordinance, 5 feet back. And that would be anytime that we do modifications, touch or adjust any part of an existing non-conforming structure. And so they did not move poles because they weren't going to change the location, but they did move way over the percentage of a simple maintenance or repair project. And they took the entire front of Stewart Street fence facing, and they've replaced it. So on that standard, our ordinance requires you to bring that fence as it may have been installed previously without a permit or previously before this ordinance went into zoning standards. It is allowed to be a legal non-conforming until it gets touched. Once it gets touched, the city's asking all residents that move their fences that are non-conforming back to the proper position for the design of the city's ornamentation of all the neighborhoods. So some of them are still at the front of the house, but as they get older and they need to be replaced, they will be under the building department's supervision and the city's request to be jurisdictively enforced to be moved back 5 feet. And so that's the standard. And as you could see from the staff's report, there's not enough critical hardships on the standards set by the city council or the state regulation for this board to really turn that over on that standard. So that's why we brought it to you. We apologize to the landlords that we weren't for that, because all they needed to do is bring it back 5 feet and we would be good. The design was fine. The layout was acceptable, except it was not set back by 5 feet. So it would start at the very corner of the living space of the house, not the porch, but the corner of the living space.
okay, thank you. But when I look at this, picture, do you happen to have this picture?
I don't have it in front of me, but I'm familiar with the house.
Would 5 foot put us right to the, would it butt up against that first window?
Probably.
Middle of the window.
So would you put it in the middle of the window? Probably not.
Right.
So,
So
so
if I
then we
was
would,
interpreting the city ordinance and the state regulations on that, it would be not the restrictive, less restrictive, but the most restrictive is what the ordinance would describe. So example, if it took it to 5 feet and it was halfway or 1/3 of the way through the window, a most restrictive would be move it to the back end of the window at the very edge of that window. And even though that might be actually 5 foot 10 inches or 5 foot or 6 foot, because you take the most restrictive if there's two conflicting guidelines in any regulatory design.
Okay.
Are we just talking about the fence that's on, I'm not sure what street we're on, but
Seward?
Seward, or are we talking about the rest of the fence, the back in the on the Fort Park and back on the alley, the 54-foot?
It does not affect the alley position of the fence. It only affects the fence that connects to the face of the house.
So the 25.5-foot fence in the front.
That is correct.
Yeah, 3 section.
anyone else have ideas? So if there are no other comments, then I will close the public hearing. See what time it is. I have 7:37, Jean.
7:37.
So you guys will decide it today, or how I know what you guys deciding?
We will decide, we will make a decision today. Yeah, normally we do. Mhm.
I really asking. I do so many good things for the city, and I know all the inspector before, and everybody, even if they see me in the street, they know my name, they say hi to me, and I don't want to be a bad person and all that, but it's for this lady, I will do anything. How she is taking care of that property and how close to me, but yeah, she did this with unknowing. It's causing me a hard time. So she even taking some medicine for stress because what she did to me, because she asked the city over there, and I don't know who gave the advice for her. And this is a learning for me too. This time, anybody asking anything, I go inside and talk to the person, to the inspector, to see if causing me any problem from now on. So this is a lesson to me too, but definitely if I know this is causing me such a hard time, and for her too, I don't even touch that fence. I guarantee 110%. And John know me, when I had problem, I went in and I talked to him. This time I'm not was around when happened, and that's why I don't have a chance to ask him. I was in Florida. In the worst case, like somebody mentioned, if really have to be moved, those 4 posts, but it's only 4 posts or 3, the 3.5 feet, even that helps to be more comfort for her, to not like somebody said to go 6 foot, to be more posts. So it's, if the city can allow that to, so the windows stay inside in the yard.
Alex,
Yes.
if that fence was moved back 5 feet, the neighbor's fence is still gonna be,
I know, it's well looked
it's gonna
at,
be,
but
it's gonna be 5 feet in front of your fence
I
on
know,
their
I know,
drive.
I know.
So that's gonna be very awkward too, to have a fence just sticking out between the two properties like that.
I know. I
But
know.
you know, I was in the city with the lady or tenant, and she was asking, and they preferring to apply for this hearing. And they said in the city, 90% will be okay. So looks like still not.
Cost us so much money.
Yeah. And we pay for the permit, we pay for the
Fine for
fine,
others.
we
It's-
pay
it's
for
just-
this
It's really a headache,
other
I
stuff
tell you
and
that.
still not approving, that's will be, so not right.
Yes, unfortunately, I think she got some bad advice from the city of Dearborn.
Not city of Dearborn, we went in the city of Lincoln Park,
When we
I
asked
with her,
to ask
and-
for this
we was-
special audience.
yeah, and we was talking with ladies at the city, yeah.
Okay, maybe I misunderstood your initial comments.
She speak English much better than me, so she understand. And I told her that I will pay for this fee to have this audience or hearing, but looks like.
All right, so do we want to begin deliberating? Anybody?
Yes.
I can't see everyone right now, so I can't tell who's speaking.
Madam Chair, I'll go first.
Okay, Lydia, thanks.
Okay.
All I see is Beckett and Raider.
Well, I guess, you know, my initial thought is to have them move the fence to butt up to the front of that window, right? And if and when their tenant moves out, then they would have to definitely move it again for that 5, you know, if that moving it to the window does not equal the 5 foot, then when that tenant moves out, I would say he's going to have to move it again and make sure it's at that 5 foot. So I guess, does he want to move it twice? Would be my question. So I'm almost just leaning toward putting it at the 5 foot setback.
Right, which we understand will probably be a little bit more than 5 feet, because not to be at the window, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, if there's any other questions you may need, we do have the city attorney in my office with me if you have any questions for him.
Okay, well, that's good to know. Thank you.
Well, to Councilwoman Lillian's question, when the tenant moves, they would have to move the fence? If we granted it, is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's what I was thinking. If moving the fence right now to butt up against that first window, you know, the frame of it where it starts,
okay.
is not exactly the 5 foot that he needs, then I say then I'm thinking that he could do that, and then when the tenant moves, he'd have to put it to code, which is the 5 foot. But then I'm thinking, why make him move it twice?
Well, I agree. You don't want to move it twice.
Exactly. So why I'm just thinking, move it to the 5 foot setback that would make it code.
Well, maybe this is a question for the attorney, but my thinking is that this stays with the property. So, I mean, if we moved it to 3.5 feet or whatever it is, that the property, I don't know that would be the case. So would that be the case that you have to move it again if you got a new tenant?
For the code.
Because it goes with the property.
Madam Chairman, may I chime in for just a moment? This is Ed Zelenak. I don't know if I'm on, probably not on camera. Let me find out.
Nope, yeah, please, you're not on camera, but that's okay.
No, I'm trying to turn it on now.
You got it.
Wait a minute. I should have got on my own Zoom. Hold on. All right, yeah, there we go. All right. I just want to remind the commission that you're not here to modify, but to interpret the ordinance. So it's either an affirmation of the decision of the building department or a reversal. And you're not here to, it's even beyond your purview to make suggestions of how to modify this matter. Because the appeal will be on the record of what you make. You're not fashioning ordinances. You're an appellate body.
Okay, so it's,
I'm just pointing that out because I understand that you want to, if you're saying 5 feet, that would mean affirming the decision of the building department. You can make every suggestion you want about burglar bars, about moving a bedroom, about doing whatever you want, but it's very nice of you to do that, but that's not the overarching purpose of this body. It's to interpret the code and see if the building department and superintendent, the professionals are interpreting it properly, and if not, then to reverse the decision. Sorry.
Okay.
I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just want to try to make the process a bit easier. Thank you.
Thank you.
so we are looking for, I mean, with that said, we're looking for a motion to either deny the appeal or approve it, in which case we would allow the fence to stay where it is until such time as, until some other time when an improvement is made to it. So
I'll make the motion to deny the petition.
So it's been moved by Lillian to deny the petition related to, excuse me, related to 1344 Stewart Avenue to request a variance of the dimensional variance from the requirement that a fence must be placed 5 feet behind the front building line of the principal structure in a residential district. Has it been, do we have it?
I'll support it.
Okay, supported by Ron. So all those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. So we have the motion carries to deny the appeal. Thank you. So moving on to the next item of business, which is related to 2075 Fort Street. It is petition to request a variance to the following. For a use variance to allow for a residential use in the basement of a commercial property in the central business district. I will open the public hearing at this time at 7:48 and ask that, is this Mr. Mohammed or his representative? Would you like to start?
Yes. Good evening, everybody. My name is John George. I'm Mohammed Hanif's attorney. We are here requesting a variance, a use variance, which will allow him to have residential occupancy below commercial occupancy in a central business district. And ordinarily, I would suggest that not be allowed, for safety reasons. But in 2016, in March, Mr. Hanif came into the City of Lincoln Park Building Department and requested a permit after he discussed his plans to rehabilitate the property by putting residential beneath the commercial. So he received an initial allowance, a permit. And if you look at the papers that I submitted, if you had a chance to look at it, he's received numerous inspections and permits. And in fact, he finally received a certificate, a temporary certificate of occupancy. Well, then I understand that there may have been a change at City Hall, and I don't know what happened, but from that point forward, he's been denied a permanent certificate of occupancy. And I understand that the board should be concerned about safety here. And in terms of egress windows, the prior approval he had obtained, excuse me for a minute. Okay, the prior approval he had obtained was for the egress windows he had put in. I understand now. I did an inspection with the fire inspector, and the windows probably need some updating. And we understand if any consideration is given to allowing this use, that of course it would be subject to fire and police requirements for this unit. One other thing, though, I would like to bring up is that this isn't really self-created. Everybody always insists that the applicant should have gone through due diligence, and he did that here. And based on what he learned and based on the permits he obtained, he spent in excess of $40,000 to $50,000 getting the basement in shape for residential occupancy. But now he's being denied that use, and we're respectfully requesting that you consider it and allow it under these very unique circumstances. Thank you.
Thank you. Would Mr. Mohammed like to speak as well, or should we move on? We can move on to Liz. Would you like to present your findings?
You're gonna bring in staff issues too.
Sure. Unless Muhammad would like to speak.
No, my attorney told me everything whatsoever. I go through all the channel. I first submit the diagram that I want to do this one. They approve it, then they issue a permit. Then I did everything what city asked me. I spent almost $60,000. And they put the egress window. I put it. Now they say that egress window need to modify. I am willing to do the modification too, but I want to use that, for what I intended to do it. And I go through all the process of the city. If they deny me in the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, then it was different story, but they deny me when everything was approved. That's only I humbly request that we should be approved. And what modification they want, I'm willing to do it.
Well, he sounds more reasonable, or am I incorrect?
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
People on the second floor.
Yeah.
Take the piss out. That's exactly what we did.
So Liz, would you like to read your statement?
Yes. Share my screen again. Okay, so gotten a description of the petition. Just want to add that the ZBA heard and denied this petition on February 20th of 2020. The applicant appealed the decision to the Circuit Court of Appeals for the County of Wayne, which then remanded the case back to the ZBA for reconsideration in October of last year. This overview goes through the history of the site, which the applicant's attorney thoroughly addressed, and then the analysis of standards for a use variance. There must be a 2/3 majority of the members of the ZBA, and proof of an unnecessary hardship must exist, which includes all of the following. So the first criteria is reasonable economic return. The finding is the land structure and other improvements are suitable for uses permitted in the district. Presumably, some of the $40,000 investment cited by the applicant to prepare the residential use could be repurposed in moving the residential use to a higher floor or in converting the lower floor to a permitted use. Assessment is not met. Second criteria is unique circumstances. There are no unique circumstances peculiar to the property which would require a residential use to be located on a floor below a business or office use. Assessment here is not met. Essential character. A residential use is permitted in the central business district and would therefore not alter the essential character of the neighborhood, so this condition is met. And the fourth is self-created hardship. The hardship is a result of the applicant's failure to verify the permitted uses and associated zoning requirements of the property. This information is publicly available online, and such verification constitutes basic due diligence on the part of the applicant. Assessment is not met. Recommendation, staff recommends denial of the request for a use variance to provide a residential use in the basement of a commercial property in the central business district, based on the finding that the request does not meet the three of the four criteria outlined in section 1264.09B.
Thank you. Can you clarify why this was sent back to us specifically? Can anyone clarify that? By the board?
Sorry, Madam Chairman, I don't know if I'm live again. Oh, let me turn on a video. I'm not very good with computers. Hang on. Ed Zelenak here. Madam Chairman, there was an appeal to Wayne Circuit Court. You know, is my screen vibrating or is that just you?
Mine.
Oh, just the, all right. I'm going to get on my computer after this. There was an appeal to Circuit Court. There's a very narrow focus of appeal, and it was that there was insufficient record. Mr. George convinced Judge Allen downtown that the matter should just be remanded to revisit the hearing, and it was just for the imperfect record that's taken. I understand there's notes being taken now. Whatever the decision is now, there would be either a better record if there were an appeal, or if there's no appeal, a better prudent reason for the decision of the body. So it's just a mere formality. This happens quite often, and I've made the recommendations that to the chair that in as much as in this instance there was a prior alleged approval by a prior building official, that the city make a more perfect record. So that allegation itself isn't raised as a sole reason for setting it aside in the circuit court.
Thank you.
All right.
I hope they understood that.
And if you don't understand that, ask any question. I'm here at least for the rest of this evening. So
I want to make sure that I understand and everyone else understands what we're being asked again, right? So does anyone have any questions? Because I think my interpretation is we're asking for the same thing, just to allow the residential use on the lower floor.
now Mr. Meyer is here. I'm going to pass the camera over to him, and he will explain again the purpose of their original petition as Miss, is it Gundon? I'm sorry, my eyes are bad here. Sorry, Liz. Go ahead.
The original appeal that we brought is, as Liz has written, is based on the hardship. The city ordinances and legal documents of the building department granted by the previous building official was stated that he granted him the right to do so. However, because it would have been incorrect or fraudulent or any other guideline handled by the building official or the building department, doesn't justify the change of a life and health safety design that has been established in the zoning board for the downtown district. So this appeal is just, again, a repeat so that we have proper records that, as the attorney has expressed, Mr. George has defended at the circuit court, that records were not kept correctly or cleanly. They are now. The same thing is in place. We haven't changed our ruling. We haven't changed our design in this district, in this zoning. We haven't permitted it. It shouldn't have been permitted by the original designer of the building department, granting him the permission because it wasn't a part of the zoning then, and it isn't still now. And that's the position we've held. And we still have a legal position to hold that due to the mistake of an officer of the building department, we're not held to a liability of granting the basement occupancy of a business above the residential dwelling. So we haven't changed our position. We haven't changed our decisions. We haven't changed our recommendation, and we haven't found any other hardship this time around than we had in the previous hardship issues stated a year and a half ago.
And Madam Chair, for the purpose of you discussing it, I'm going to mute with Mr. Meyer and discuss some matters here privately that we may represent to the body while you're having your review and discussion of the motion before the board. All right?
Oh, thank you.
Do you have enough information for Mr. Meyer?
Yes,
Myers. I'm sorry.
unless I'm speaking for everyone.
No,
Does anyone?
Let's make it clear. Meyer is the supermarket. Myers is the building official, and that's a common mistake. We seem to add a possessive S on everything else, but it's Myers. So you may possess him, but we're going to mute him right now. We're going to have a brief discussion here while you're discussing. So if we seem to disappear. Secondly, I'd recommend that you folks instruct the city to purchase him a new iPad here. This is, I don't know how he's getting his work done here. This is absolutely frustrating for the hard work he does here.
We get it.
What happened to the big screen?
So, you know, at this point, there is no, I mean, we just had our lesson, right? We can only deny or approve. So, I mean, I would love for, you know, this to be in compliance. I would love for the people to be able to live on one of those floors. And I guess I was hoping that, you know, that could happen. So, but I don't really, so I guess, do we have any, you know, any other questions about this? I think we're used to kind of coming up with ideas. Which we've been told now we shouldn't be doing.
Madam Chair, if I could.
Go ahead, Lily.
I think my only thing would be is he's not going to be able to use the bottom level, the basement, for residential.
Right.
But he can still rent out the main floor and the second floor. So there's still money to be made, just not from the basement, which, you know, our ordinance hasn't changed either.
Right.
It still stands.
Right. That's always been the ordinance in the downtown area. Mm-hmm.
Right. So, yeah, I remember this one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any questions. I don't know what the attorney and the city inspector have to come back with.
Right.
I guess what
Madam
I'm
Chair, we're here, and I was curious. I spoke with Mr. Myers as to whether there's the possibility, since you have concluded your public hearing and there is usable floor space, and it may require, if indeed they're interested in expending money and resources to make the building up to code and address all the fire safety issues, you've completed the hearing unless Mr. George has more evidence to present on behalf of his client, and you can adjourn the decision until your next regular meeting, and there might be an opportunity to resolve this matter administratively and bring it back to the Board of Zoning Appeals without obfuscating the intent of the ordinance.
Yeah, we would have no objections.
I think your position is clear. I think, Mr. George, the city's position is clear that it's not only safety, but it would seem that there'd be a remarkable transformation of the basement, an excessive expenditure of resources to turn it into a rental property. It would be interesting for the parties to try to meet with Mr. Myers and attempt to resolve this where the entire building can use every usable area of floor space, but just redesign its interest in what part is going to serve as business, what part is going to serve as residence. Unless I'm reading this wrong, and I'd ask the building official working as the planning consultant, Liz, if you would chime in on that and indicate whether you think that's a practicality here to try to repurpose the building to comply with the code.
I have no objection to working through that with Mr. George and his clients.
I have no objections either.
I would move we postpone a decision and allow the plaintiff and the city to see if they could amicably resolve the issue.
So it's been moved by Ron Tank.
I'll
to
support that.
postpone. Okay, thank you. Did you get it all, Jean?
Did you close the public hearing?
We did not close the public hearing yet,
All right.
so
Oh, I'm sorry.
First
Let
of all,
me-
if there's any further public comment.
you closed it for us.
Commissioner.
But yes, I will close it now and then we
Well,
can.
Madam Chair, please inquire, just to make certain so we don't get in the same mess we did last time. See if there's any other public comment, give them their last chance.
And is there any other public comment before we close the public hearing?
Fine.
Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. I think I just saw 8:05 on my clock. And then we will move to deliberation. And we had a motion by Mr. Tank to postpone the decision on this pending deliberations by the city official and the attorneys for both the city and Mr. Mohammed and then bring it back to a future meeting. And Lillian, you support it?
Yes.
Madam Chair, would you
Yes.
then have an objection to put this on the agenda for next month?
I have no objection for that. I think everybody planned to be here next month, third Thursday, is that what it is?
Correct.
Sure, let's put it on for next month. Do you want that to be should that be part of the motion, or that doesn't matter, right?
I don't think it matters. It'll just matter. I know we have another case on it for next month and we would just add this to it.
Good, the sooner the better. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
I
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Good night.
thank you.
So, just in concluding the meeting, I guess, the additional agenda items or any reports from departments or other boards or commissions. John, did you have anything you would like to say, or Miss or Maureen maybe? Okay. Next item of business is public comments. Any public comments? Hearing none, the next item is any comments from ZBA members.
Done.
Have a very happy and safe Labor Day.
You as well. Thank you. So the meeting is hereby adjourned.
And maybe not have any more power outages like the last disaster. Please, God, help us.
Amen.
Here, here. Okay, thank you. Since I didn't know if we needed a motion to, adjourn. I just want to make sure everything's by the
Make a
book.
motion to adjourn.
Yeah, let's do it. So it's been moved and supported. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Excellent. So thank you for sticking around and doing that. Jean, do you have everything you need?
I believe so. He told me just briefly take this, and they'll listen to the recording, so I have enough information. If not, I'll get this done within a day or two and have John call me, and I could always refresh his memory if necessary, but usually it works out well. And
But
like,
Liz,
like everyone say, happy Labor Day and have a good one. Summer's coming to an end. I hate to see that, but we've had a
Right?
good year other than the rain.
Right.
So, Joan, which musical instruments usually found in the bathroom? The tuba toothpaste.
Tuba toothpaste.
Had to give you one.
They're
And
so clean.
what's brown and sounds like a bell? Dong. Bye.
Kids joke.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Good night, Jack.
Bye, Liz.